welcome back to yet another edition, the finest edition of Survive to Thrive. Just kidding. There's a lot of good editions and editions, and it's kind of cool. Again, just evergreen on the concept of you can listen to these again and again. If something resonates with you, then it's something to keep on file, come back to it. And today might be that version for you. And here's today's topic. You've already read the title, no doubt. But today's target is to define the target, but also to understand if you miss by an inch, you miss by a mile. There's a lot of sayings when it comes to targets. There's a lot of sayings: miss small, aim small, miss small type of thing. But the one of the targets is to understand that if you miss by an inch, you miss by a mile. And if you are not into shooting or shooting sports, you're kind of like, I've never really experienced that. So Kellen and I went out, it was Saturday. So I drew a tag, which is a cow tag, a cow elk tag, which is our primary meat that we eat. Everything. And so we process all our own meats. I tell people it's organic, right? We know where the meat's coming from. I mean, I handle all the meat. We break it down as a family. We grind our own burger and all this type of stuff. And so I love to do that. And this is a big part of our family. So when we draw a tag, it's like a big deal. This year I drew what we call a muzzleloader tag. So it's kind of a kind of flashback to some of the older style weapons. They have new technology and all these types of things. So if you imagine a muzzleloader is basically you create a bullet in the barrel. So you have to pour your own powder in, and then you stuff a bullet down the barrel. So you only get one shot, and then there's a cap that goes in there and everything like that. The cap ignites the powder, and the bullet goes out. Well, we went out Saturday and to shoot a couple rounds with a muzzleloader, and it's a 50 caliber muzzleloader. Is one thing, but to put multiple rounds, the thing kicks like a mule, and it makes your shoulder a little bit sore. It's not one of these things that you want to go out and shoot a bunch of rounds with. But here's the deal: we were shooting at a target, and a couple shots were like, "Oh, well, it's close. We're like right there. We're right there, and just let's dial it in." And then basically, what happened was all hell broke loose. Like it was like not understanding what was going on, and we started missing like huge, and we're making fine adjustments on the sights. And in Nevada is what we call open sights. There's no scope, so it's harder, it's more challenging to be on target without a scope. It's kind of an art to use what they call open sights. And anyways, very long story short on this is that we started making fine adjustments, and we were missing by miles. We were missing by an inch, but we were missing by a mile. And something went wrong, and we couldn't figure it out. And I was about ready to break the gun over my truck, just, because it's bad. I put a lot of time and energy into this understanding and trying to, figure these things out. And at the end of the day, when this doesn't pan out, it's like, what do you do? And so about 25 shots later, the thing's just all over the place. And I'm thinking in my head, is it the sights? Did we bump the sights? Something happened? Is it the powder? Is it the bullets that we were using? Something just wasn't right. Was it the temperature outside? So you start combing through and thinking of these big issues, these big problems. And I had to step away from it. I mean, I had more bullets to do that I could keep shooting, but I was like, that's it. I'm done today. And Kellen was kind of like, he was just a saint on it because he came out to shoot it. He's got a deer tag later, and he's going to use that weapon. So I wanted him to shoot on it too. And I don't know. I don't know what to say today. And so we left, went and had breakfast, and I just sat there just shaking my head. And then eventually we go from just being pissed off at it to like, okay, I can't let this ruin the day. And I got to shift a little bit. We got to shift. And so we shifted. We went and had breakfast and started laughing about it. And I mean, like, literally when we shoot at the target, we're like, okay, this one should be on based on the criteria that we're bringing to the table, all these things, adjustments and all this stuff. And then it was like, whew, you'd see it hit the dirt like way off, way high. And then we'd make a small little adjustment to bring it down, and it was way low. All right. And so the point for you today all right, is to actually come back and talk about the concept that where you might be missing by an inch, and thus missing by a mile. So often in life, we make things super complex, and we get caught in the big picture of some things. And I'll walk you through kind of the solution, what we did, but we get lost in kind of big concepts and forget about the details. The details do matter. And I told Kellen, I said, we were all over the place because we just started forgetting about the details. And if you know about open sights, it's you got to know what you're doing with it to correct it. So if we're shooting high, then the rear sight's got to go low. And then we were forgetting. We're like, did we move it low? Did we move it high? Did we move it left, right? And so we were all over the board on these types of things. Now, some of it wasn't our fault. There were some things, but there were some details that we needed to think about. And so for you right now, you're dealing with something in your world. It could be in your body. It could be in your relationship with God, your purpose, your connections there. It could be with relationships with loved ones that you are pouring into on a daily basis, that you're missing this 30,000 foot view, or you're into this 30,000 foot view, but you're missing the details along the line. And so you're missing by an inch, which doesn't seem like a lot. Like day in, it's just like, I missed by an inch. All right, today, we just missed it by a little bit. But the impact that has 100 yards downfield, downrange, as we would call it, is huge. Like literally missing by an inch could be missing by a mile when you are actually off target. And thus was the story with me and Kellen. Like we were missing by just an inch, but the impact that had downrange was a missed animal, was a missed target, was missed whatever. It just wasn't going to work. And you are daily right now missing something by an inch, which doesn't seem like a lot. It's like, not a big deal. I'm missing by an inch. It's just, all right, I didn't get my workout in today. It's not a big deal. But the impact that has long term, we deal with this in the office. They missed an appointment. And people are like, it's just one appointment. Yeah, but it breaks a pattern and breaks a habit. And we know in our office, and I'm beginning to teach doctors this, we know in our office that if you miss 2 to 3 of these appointments in a month, you quit. And why is that? Well, it's human nature. It's habit. And if we break habit, we start to fall off track. And so the challenge for you today, as it's set up on every single day in this Survive to Thrive podcast, is to identify where you're missing by an inch right now. Okay, on the 30,000 foot view, it still might look okay. But in the details, you're missing just a little bit of an inch. It's like not taking your wife out for a date. It doesn't really matter right now. But you wake up 30, 60, 90 days from now, and you have this major collision with your significant other, and you're sitting there going, what happened? Well, you're missing by a mile then, because you're missing by an inch now. Your spirituality, your purpose. You're not defining it. You're not actually getting in to engage it and understand it and actually own it for you. You may be letting somebody else lead you in that. It's not bad, but you have to have your own opinion of what your connection is, your purpose, your higher power that you are actually looking towards. And if you're not connected there, you're missing by inches. By letting somebody else lead you in that direction, you're missing by inches to show up down the road like literally so lost in your understanding of purpose and connection that it's hard to recover from. Again, going back to body, you're missing by an inch by just like scaling back a little bit on your workouts or missing those workouts, not pushing it a little bit up. And then 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, next year, you're just going, I just didn't get the results that I wanted. And so here's the tip. One is discovery, right? You got to be able to recognize that you have a challenge right now, that you're missing by an inch, which you may see as not a big deal. And I'm just coming to you today to say, raise the flag, people, because by missing by an inch and not doing the daily work, you're going to end up missing by a mile. Like down the road, it's going to explode. Like you're going to be way off target standing like we were, standing out in the middle of the sagebrush going, well, this is what we were shooting for, but wow, We're missing. And so Sunday we wake up and I go, okay, I got a plan. I thought about it. I got a plan. We scrapped the gunpowder. That sat all year long, so maybe it got damp because we had a couple issues. The gunpowder's got to go. I got a new bottle of gunpowder. It's sealed up. Boom, we're going to use that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick with our original game plan, but we're going to write some things down. Okay, we're going to keep track of some things, and then we're going to actually get closer. We're going to get into the details. So instead of shooting at 100 yards, I'm going to bring my target closer. And we're going to get proficient at shooting and hitting this target up close. And sure enough, we get out at 50 yards, so cut the distance in half, 50 yards, and I'm like, whoa, it is really high on the target at 50 yards. Okay, but we're on target. Like, we've hit the region. We're not like shooting into the sagebrush way down the road. And so, okay, we got one little gain. This is like correcting that little inch. Okay, so let's drop it down. And so, boom, we're closer to the bullseye. Okay, now here's what we need to do. I want to be 3 inches high at 50 yards because it should be, I should be about 5-6 inches high at 50 yards, 3 inches high at 100 yards. And then I know that bullet's trajectory is going to do this at 200 yards. So we get a 50 and we dial it in and like, gosh, that's about 6 inches. That's awesome. 5-6 inches. We're grouping them now and they're there. So I'm like, okay, things are working. The details are back. The details matter. And we get into this focus and boom, it's there. Then we extend back to 100 yards. And what do you think happened? We're back on target. We're back on target. So literally it's there. Now, one little fine adjustment because it was still showing left. So we push it and we get back on target. It's boom, right where it should be. Then I hand the gun over to Kellen. He takes 2 shots. He's on target and we're like stoked. So here it is. We're back on target. We actually did the work and got into the details, but got closer. We looked at the inch. We moved 50 yards, which is a lot of inches, but we looked at the inch. We looked at the smaller stuff and conquered the smaller stuff. And this is your tip today. So one, recognizing that if you're missing daily in one area of your life by an inch, it's having significant impact downrange. Downrange, you're having this significant impact in your life in some way or another. Could be your body, could be your being, could be your balance, could be your bank account. Doesn't matter what it is. Identifying it, 1, and then 2, coming back to the details, coming back to the little focus on the inch so that you can actually cut that distance and make sure you're proficient here. This is actually getting up and just saying, I'm just going to do push-ups today. I've fallen off track with my workout. I've fallen off track with my nutrition. I'm going to get up and have a green drink. I'm going to get up and just do something. I'm going to move today. I'm going to actually do something to make that correction. And you start correcting that inch. What starts to happen is that your mile miss starts to come back on target. The further from that target that you get, the more accurate you become because you're understanding what it takes to get to that greater distance. Stop trying to close the distance and focus on where you're at and get close to that target so you know what you can hit. Be proficient at hitting these things. Meaning I'm proficient at doing 25 push-ups on a daily basis. And you get this rhythm that starts to develop. And in that rhythm, you can add other things. You have more energy. You're sleeping a little bit better. I'm getting adjusted at the chiropractor. I'm adding some massage. My body's starting to feel better. My relationships are starting to become on track because I feel this energy that starts to go, this momentum. So the tip and the trick today for you is 1, recognize where you're actually missing. And then 2, make that correction by getting closer to that target. Like I'm going to bring that target closer and see what it looks like again. I'm going to look at it and then make my corrections. And you'll find yourself just moving from, again, survival mode into thriving. That's the whole concept. All right. This is not motivation. This is consistency. This is looking at your targets, where you're trying to go and making the small corrections, that inch. So don't miss by an inch. You dial that in and you'll hit your mile every single time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in love and light, bringing truth every day to you with this fun podcast of moving you from surviving to thriving. We'll talk to you tomorrow.